Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the what's next on Sandor Martin, the contender, 140-pound contender at junior welterweight, following another stay busy victory as he scored a TKO on December 16th. I believe he was fighting in his home country of Spain when he got that win, and now he moves forward. And before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So now for Martin, following that victory, we know he's the WBC's #1 contender, but what's next for Sandor Martin? Well, last week when I did the Devin Haney what's next, I was predicting, Haney and Martin probably going to lock horns, right? Well, given the recent news this past week, and Devin Haney even said it on Saturday, that he thinks it's going to be him and Ryan Garcia next. And I believe that if he's already coming out and saying that, then things must be going good enough to where that fight's probably going to be, going to be what happens. That's a big fight for boxing. Two young, good fighters. So, of course, I'd love to see that, but where does that leave Sandor Martin? Well, obviously, Devin Haney, I think it's going to be Martin if he doesn't fight Ryan Garcia. Because there's really not another big name that I think the WBC would be like, yeah, it's all good, to go ahead. And plus, I think Haney might want to fight a guy like Martin just to, one-up Teofimo Lopez. Because if Haney goes out there and dominates Martin, then he can, tell Lopez, I got a leg up on you now, because I whipped his ass and he fought you tight. So, that helps in terms of the A side if that unification bout ever gets made between Haney and Lopez. Speaking of Teofimo Lopez, is a rematch possible for Lopez and Martin? I really don't think Lopez wants to fight Sandor Martin again. I think Lopez is on a big fight kick or fighting around a big event like he's going to return in early February and take on Jermaine Ortiz, who's not a bigger name, than Martin, but he's a top-ranked guy. Easy fight to make, coming up from lightweight, but also it's Super Bowl week. So Lopez is going to get a lot of attention fighting that week on ESPN. But a rematch, again, I just don't think it's something Lopez wants to do. It was an ugly, tough fight the first time around. I think Lopez would have to dig deep again because just stylistically, it's kind of a bad matchup for him. And it might not be the prettiest victory, even if Lopez wins by wider margins next time. Then there's Regis Prograis. Now, I really like this fight, and I say, why not? If Prograis wants to get right back on that level and can't get a title fight, like, say, against Subriel Matias or somebody like that, why not take on a guy like Sandor Martin? But me, personally, I think Prograis is going to want to go after a big name or a big name first, or take on, somebody, somebody less of a threat, I guess, where the style matches up with Prograis a little bit better. Then there's Arnold Barboza Jr., contender. He's also highly rated by the WBO right now. I think he's the #1 contender. And he's now with Golden Boy, and Martin has worked with DAZN a couple times already now. So I honestly believe that Martin and Barboza could make sense, considering nobody else seems to want to sign up and fight him unless they get ordered into mandatory fights in their own governing body. But they could technically fight each other to become like a super mandatory and get Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney, who hold the respective titles that they're #1 contenders at, to potentially fight them. So that would be a big deal. I'm leaning towards the less likely, but it's not to say it can't happen. Then there's Sandor Martin. Then there's Ryan Garcia. Now, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, I really think it's this kind of mix. If Devin doesn't fight Ryan because that negotiation falls through for whatever reason, I think Devin will probably fight Martin. but that doesn't mean absolutely that that's a guarantee. So I do believe Ryan might fight a guy like Martin because he doesn't hit hard, and he can try to one-up what Teofimo Lopez did as well and be a top-tier guy, and I think Ryan wants to kind of step it up anyways. Then there's IBF champion Subriel Matias. I think Martin would be down to fight Matias. I really think he would if nobody else wants to sign up to fight him. So Matias, I think, is going to be on the lookout for a challenger. I do believe there's other fighters that might get the fight before Matias, but Matias is definitely in optional mode, and Martin might just be like, hey, fuck it, I'm down to fight him. I've been in a ring with Mikey Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. You want to get to them, you got to beat me first. So I think he could use that angle. He's a good, solid name, and I think that could sell if nobody else wants to fight Matias, and we might be in that one, so I do think it's an option. Then there's Jose Ramirez, the former unified world champion. I could see this one taking place. Ramirez wants to continue to build. He was rated by the WBC before. I believe he still is, but I could see like a Martin and Ramirez type eliminator happening in the WBC, a final eliminator, something along those lines to get a title shot with Devin Haney. I could see that. Gary Antoine Russell, not sure if Martin would rush to the front of the line to fight Russell, but I'm not saying he wouldn't either. Again, I think Martin wants to fight the best available to him to try to get his world title shot finally. But I'm leaning towards the less likely with Russell. And I think that's pretty much it through my top 10 that I'm going to talk about for there's also Jack Catterall. Sorry. Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. So Jack Catterall, I believe if he's continuing to try to build himself up, unless he goes forward with the eliminator against Richardson Hitchens, I think he might take on a guy like Martin because it's an easy fight to make with Matchroom and stuff, and all that, and it's kind of a chess match right there, two pure boxers, southpaws. So he might go for that, especially considering Catterall, after what should have been a victory over Josh Taylor last year, where he got robbed. He really wants to make an impression because nobody's wanted to give him an opportunity since then, and it's sad because he deserves one. And then finally, former champion Josh Taylor. Taylor is a two-time champion, former undisputed champion, and actually he's not a two-time champion, he's just a former undisputed champion. But Taylor, I believe, wants to move to 147, or get a big fight, and I don't see any big fights lining up for him. So I do think it's possible Josh Taylor's gone from 140, and even if he was still there, I'm not sure he'd want to fight a guy with Martin's style. So for Martin, I believe he is going to be an option. Again, I believe if Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia don't work out, I think Haney will cash in on his mandatory and fight Martin, who's the #1 contender. I also believe an eliminator could happen for Martin, could be ordered for him next to get in line for the winner of Haney and Ryan Garcia. And then there's just a lot of different names in the top 10 that might be willing to fight him. But I'm being optimistic, and I do believe somebody is going to give him the call and they're going to fight. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on the contender Sandor Martin from Spain following his Stay Busy TKO victory on December 16th. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.